welcome to this episode of CodeAlong with gOZie. We'll be looking at HTML images. Images can be used to improve the design and appearance of a web page. And let's look at how this is done. I'll create a new HTML page, images.html, and shift 1, press enter. We change the title to HTML images. We had h1, so let's define as the title of the page, HTML images. Now, to add image to a page, to embed image to a page, we use the img tag. img. One thing to take note of with images is that I think okay, is it the first? Yes, this should be the first tag we're looking at that comes with a mandatory attributes. Of course, when I press enter, you take note of the fact that it's a self-closing tag. It doesn't have a closing img tag, and the source tag is a mandatory tag. What do I mean by mandatory? Let's view and see images. There's no image on this page. You must have to tell the browser where to get the image to display, and how to instruct the browser on that is to fill this source attribute with a value. Now, first things first, our image folder is empty, nothing in it. So I'll have to get back to the root folder, go to my pictures, copy a picture. That's a picture of me. It looks a little cool. Okay, so get to the image that's copied from my picture into my project root folder, the images folder, put it here. Now I will need the names to be very descriptive. It helps. Okay, change it to my original name, gOZieCHUKWU. And when I get back here and click on images, that's the picture. Now here, I'll have to tell the browser to get to the image folder, and within the image folder, get me this picture. So how do I do that? Just because the file is here, images, it cannot see directly this file, but if from the images file, you can see the img folder. So tell the browser, get to the img folder, / VS Code will read the folder and give you a list of all the files within that folder. So that's the file I'm looking for, the gOZieCHUKWU.jpg. Right, so let's look at it. So the picture is displayed here. And the alt, it's used to provide an alternative text for two reasons. These alternative texts are for two reasons. One, well, if for network reasons the image does not load, to provide kind of like a description of what should be there. So this is a picture of gOZieCHUKWU. Coder, church boy, entrepreneur. Leave all this. Let's not get into some frivolities. Okay, so let's change the file extension so that the image doesn't properly load. Look at it. Okay, so the picture doesn't load, but the alternative shows. Another very important reason for the alt is for disabled. So those that are blind, they can't see the picture. Of course, they use browsers with what we call a screen reader. So the screen reader reads the content of your page to them. So when it gets to where it sees a picture, the screen reader does not have a way of describing the picture. The only way to get a description of this picture is for the screen reader to read this section. Okay, so ensure we have that while coding the image tag. Another attribute we could have is the width and height. Okay, So I could set the width to anything, let's say 100 pixels, and height to maybe 150 pixels. Okay. Okay, let's make it 100 by 100. Okay. So if you go like this, you can also see that the picture is small. Just used to define that. Let me show you pitfall. Pitfall is you could, in the process of defining this, change what we call the aspect ratio. And it will now look like this. It will no longer look good. I'll make it a little bigger so that you get to see what I'm saying. 300 by say 150. Okay, you could still, of course, you can identify me like this. So what do I advise? My advice is this: if you want the picture to maintain the aspect ratio, but to have a particular kind of a particular size, I will advise you take one of these off. So if I take height off, the width will be 300. Then the browser will now compute the height according to the aspect ratio on its own. What do I mean? There's no height, so let me reduce this picture to say, let me increase this picture to like 500 width. So the browser will compute from here. 500 should be somewhere here, and then on its own it will compute what height will make this picture look good while maintaining a width of 500. So I don't have to be computing it myself. So let's 500. Okay. It will adjust both the width and the height automatically. Same thing for height. We can have our height and remove the width. It will compute the height and then render the width according to what we call the aspect ratio. Aspect ratio is what's the ratio between the height and the width. Okay, so that's a kind of like a trick. Next is how do we source images from some other sites? So let's look at let's look for a site. Let's pick a picture. Which one now? Stock pictures. I'm not sure. Okay, Shutterstock. Let's videos and music. Let's look at this. Let's pick one. Okay, so let's say I want this picture. I want this picture. Okay, just click on it. Okay, so let's say I want this one. I could copy the link address. Let me paste it here and see what I have. Sorry, I still have this here. Okay, so this is what we have, and not too sure that's the picture, but let's have a look at it. img tag. All I need to do is to paste this here in the source folder, and let's see if it will display as we. Not really. Sorry, I need to get the. Let's click on it. I do not want to download it. Okay, I could inspect it. And basically that's the address, that's the link to the picture. So I could right click and copy link address. Let me see this, I'm sure it's okay. So this is not what I want. Okay, good. Sorry, I didn't take note of the fact that the other one did not end with the .jpg. You should end with either jpg, png, one of the image file types. Okay, so this should show now. Okay, so can you see this picture? That's the one they have here. So we just displayed this picture on our site. We didn't have to download it. All we need to do is to point to the picture. What I did to get it, the inspection and the rest, if you're interested in it, DM me via my number 0813-818-4403. Just send me a chat on WhatsApp. I will walk through the process. Okay. Now, the other thing we could do is to, for now, let me put this in paragraphs to move to the next line, because the image tag is not a block tag. So you have something like this. You have the images side by side. A block tag is a tag that, okay, we'll talk about it in another class. So just take note of the fact that the image tag is not a block tag. So it's an inline tag. It means that if you have 3 or 4 images, they will stick to the same line, but we want them to be on different lines. So for now, according to the tags we've studied, I just need to put them in paragraphs. It's basically the best we could do to separate them. Okay, so now they're separated. So how do we make a picture clickable? How to make it clickable? We'll look at that when we get to the length class. But for now, I think we've handled all we need to know about images.